Maxwell, a big band in your discography this week.
Yeah, a band that I've been very about since they came on the scene about 12 years ago, which we kind of touch on here as well.
We do. DMA is on the show, in particular Matt Mason, who is a little bit of everything really, but more known for being, I guess, the guitar sort of connoisseur, dabbles in all sorts of different instruments, but he's sort of a big cog in the DMA's machine.
Absolutely. We caught up with Mason behind the scenes at the Crowbar when they were in Brisbane just recently for a bit of an album launch listening party for their self-titled record, oddly enough named DMAs. And
crazy.
And it was so good to be able to have the chat, then hear some of the songs, hear the stories about the songs, really contextualize the album. It is, when this lands, the album's coming out next week. So this is a really cool little preview for some of the stories behind the records. Go listen to some of the singles as well. And just, I think they're back to that real original recipe DMAs, like acoustic guitars, not a lot of synths, not a lot of like sequences, which I still loved that material, but this is going back to where it all began. Yeah,
it was a really good chat. He was such a great guy. And then some surprising influences as well that we dive into. And it was 16, his eyes light up when we mentioned the hardcore scene.
Yep.
Got a lot out of him from that. That was really cool.
Keep an eye peeled for that Speed DMA's crossover headline act.
100%.
Well, Sam, I'm going to throw to you to start us off with the chat with Mason.
Maxwell, ahead of the release of their self-titled 5th record, we are joined by Mason from DMAs. Mate, welcome to the show.
Thanks, bro.
It's our pleasure. We start the show the same way, literally with every single guest, and that is just to understand what you're spinning in your playlist lately.
A lot of bluegrass.
Okay.
So on this tour, this acoustic tour, playing an instrument called a dobro.
I saw that in the soundtrack.
Yeah. It's a bluegrass instrument, and it was created in the Czech Republic, but it's embraced by the bluegrass kind of world. This guy called Jerry Douglas, who kind of is like he's the man. And I've just been getting, the last couple of weeks, just been getting really into that.
Sick.
Yeah.
Is it hard to play compared to like a normal guitar? Like, is there a difference?
It's heaps different.
Yeah.
It's heaps different. It's kind of, it's more similar to like a banjo.
Okay.
You've got the finger picks and the...
Yeah.
It's not, something like this. It's kind of similar.
And not quite like pedal steel, full like,
Yeah, no. I play pedal steel as well. They're different.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of bluegrass, a lot of like a lot of black metal at the moment.
Okay.
I've got a baby now, so like a lot of kids music. So kind of all the good stuff.
Which kids band ranks the top, do you reckon?
There's a song by Imogen Heap.
Okay.
That's like it's like baby crap. You put that on and they just like they're like out cold. They just love it.
I guess with all like her layers and stuff, it'd be quite
And as far as like kids music goes, like it's a bit of integrity to it. Like I'm listening to it being like, what mic is she using? Like listening to the instrumentation, whereas you get like your sort of Baby Sharks and that kind of kids music. This just drives you fucking crazy. So a bit of that.
That's a pretty good list. That's a pretty good list. As Sam mentioned, we are here at the Crowbar to celebrate the release of the 5th album, and congratulations, it's sounding incredible. We had a little sneak listen, and it's been, before we get into the specifics of the record, it's been 3 years since you dropped How Many Dreams.
Yeah.
How far out from the release of How Many Dreams did the planning and the beginning of this record sort of start for you guys?
So usually we'll do like a 2-year cycle, but this we had kind of had the luxury of having a 3-year cycle. It made a massive difference to us, so we kind of just not feeling like it's rushed or anything like that. And a lot of the songs are quite old as well, like 7, 8 years old. So we kind of pulled from the vault for a few songs and stuff, so it really didn't feel like it was rushed. But yeah, we're really happy. We self-produced it with our friend, self-produced it with a friend who's like good at like file management and stuff like that. So, we did it at our studio in Glebe, and it took longer than usual, but it's been really good work. We actually went over to San Fran to work with the producer, and it didn't really work. Like, it was cool, but it was like, it's not really working. Because it's our 5th album, we really know what we want to hear.
Yeah.
And so we were a little bit stubborn. I feel like he was a bit stubborn, and so we kind of just called him. We were like, let's just go back home, and like we liked the demos. So we were like, look, man, like let's just open these sessions, kind of just improve them a bit, and we're really happy with it.
The record is, of course, self-titled, which for many bands, I guess historically, is typically, the first album they launch with, they name their first album self-titled. But is that sort of production aspect of it why you thought it best encapsulated, the DMA sound, and why you gave it the self-titled name?
Yeah, it's sort of like a coming home moment. We sort of tried a few different things sonically on the last couple of records. This is kind of more of a sort of throwback to our first album, Alex album.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of our fans want to hear that, so kind of did it for them. And we sort of just felt like the right time to use this stuff. Also, album titles are pretty hard. We had a few floating around and we were like, no, let's just go. This is good. We could all agree. So that's the hardest
You've
thing.
got the self-titled in the bank, like you can just roll it out whenever.
Yeah. I feel like when people do it, it's trying to make a statement, and I feel like this is sort of like a coming home kind of sonically, and did it ourselves, and so it felt good.
Well, one of the central themes for the record for me, I took from El Alamein, which is the first track for people listening. And one of the lyrics says, "The man I see before me has never told his proper story." Was that sort of like setting the record straight on DMAs a little bit?
We don't really write songs as sort of narratives about sort of other. We kind of write a lot of sort of in personal songs and relationships that we have and things like that. The song's kind of about. There's a fountain called the El Alamein Fountain in King's Cross.
Okay.
That really used to live around that area. So it's kind of famous. It looks like a big dandelion. I don't know if you know it.
I've probably seen it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's called the El Alamein Fountain, and it's sort of like there was a battle there in World War One, and
Definitely seen it.
I've seen it.
and it's sort of like the first verse is about this battle, and then it kind of goes on to some guy who's kind of strung out in the cross, walking past the fountain, and this kind of arc of different people through different generations experiencing the same sort of.
That's sick.
No,
I love that. I feel like nowadays that sort of storytelling element isn't as prominent in modern songwriting. Like, it's nice to have that because a lot of it's just about personal experiences. It's not into the narrative of.
We don't do it that much, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to do it.
I mean, sonically, the album, like we sort of said earlier, it goes back to the beginning in a lot of ways, and there's a lot less sequences and synthesizers across the album, and tracks feel like they could have been on Hill's End. You sort of have the set direction when you wanted to explore the album. The roots were where you wanted to return to.
I want to do that for a while. Just go back to kind of less effects, less kind of just guitars and sounding a bit more raw. And we just thought, we spent a lot of time in our own studio recording it, and we just had the time to sort of just get everything right. Like, we tried to keep things really simple, and I think there's a chunk in.
Definitely feels it. It also feels like it's taking more specifically cues from sort of like late 80s, early 90s, like college rock radio, indie kind of sounds, like R.E.M., Dinosaur Jr., that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Were there any bands or genres or sounds that you kind of either consciously or subconsciously that kind of appeared later when you thought, this is kind of what we're kind of looking at?
Yeah, it was like, because Manchester's sort of like a second home to us, and taken a lot of inspiration from that city over the years. And I was thinking, I was listening to a lot of 80s Manchester bands, and so there's a few songs on the record that are really leaning into that sort of 80s vibe, a bit like early stoner, this kind of thing. We were sort of 80s Manchester was a big sort of overall influence.
You talk about Manchester. You guys have had a lot of success overseas as a band. I mean, you spoke, you've recorded it in Glebe, your own studio. What sort of difference did that make recording it, where you guys have your roots, where you're based? Like, did it bring a different element into the creative juices flow more when you were writing, in Glebe, in something you're so familiar with?
Well, the thing about recording in a studio with a producer is like you kind of feel a bit guilty if you like you can't record something 50 times.
Yeah.
Because you're on someone else's time, you're kind of hiring the thing, so there's an element of just kind of wanting to get things out quickly. When you're on your own time and you're in space, you can really just take as much time as you want and experiment with different things, and that you don't have this feeling of urgency that sometimes you do when you've like rented a studio for 2 weeks in LA. You kind of, quickly we need to get this done by today, and so that led to just a lot more just a lot more sort of experimentation.
Yeah,
a little freedom.
Just less pressure. Which I think you can hear in the music.
Yeah,
100%.
Speaking about being a band that's not necessarily from the inner west originally, but you're well known for being a band that's championed the inner west in Sydney. I suppose first off, a really important question, which is at least parts, the Courthouse Hotel, the Annandale, the Lord Last, and Lady Hampshire. Which one's taking the lead? Where's the best pint?
Oh man, so you know that when Johnny and Tommy were in the band Underlights before this band, when Tommy was a drummer and Johnny was the bass player, they played it down. They basically licked it down for years, and then we had a studio above the Lady Hampshire, and we had another studio above the Lord Gladstone.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be productive when you have a studio above a pub. All of your friends are hanging out there. So yeah. The Lady Hampshire was a good. That's where we wrote our second album. Mm-hmm. The Lord Gladstone was more of our third and fourth records. But yeah, I don't know. That's all kind of been a blur.
That's a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of having studios above pubs, this record, as you mentioned, kind of feels like you went to Glebe, you went to the Glebe Studios, which they're historic. They've had David Bowie and Bruce Springsteen record there as well. I suppose in that sense, apart from being easier to go get a pint at a pub, what's the difference between a studio that you've kind of thrown together at the top of the pub versus stepping into someone that's had that mystery?
Well, when we first moved in, there was a bottle shop next door, and I was like, fuck, can't get one again, dude. Come on, I'm trying to get this done, But that studio was built by a guy named Cole Joy in the 70s, and he's a bit of a legend. I hadn't really heard of him before that, but he's like my mum was like, oh my god, Cole Joy, what a heartfelt. He was around the 50s, and he built this kind of music empire. Yeah, this building. Right. Yeah, we were just on Marketplace one time. We kind of pumped up, and we were like, oh fuck this. Yeah, moved in there, and our guitar tech works out there as well. And it's just great because everything works. Yeah. He's more of a techie guy. The studios that have just been left up to us, nothing, you plug it in they're just not even working, and so it's good to have some more technical guys working in studios so that things work. So it's great sharing with David.
Well, if we could talk influences for a second, and not necessarily even of DMA as a band, you personally, we've heard that you're a big hardcore fan. So, I mean, are we talking old school stuff? Are you getting in with the new sort of wave of Sydney stuff that's coming through with speed? Where do you lie in that?
Man, we're doing that One Night Stand Triple J festival.
Yeah.
And they request that you get the guest up to sing or to perform with you.
Yeah.
And we reached out to Jem from Speed, who's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
I was like, and you want to come up and play flute on one of our songs, because there's a few songs on the album that have flute parts, and they were down, but then they moved the date of the festival, and then because they tour a lot, we couldn't make it. Man, I was keen for that. I know, but I think maybe another time, hopefully. But then I'd love to play up with Speed. We've been trying to tee up a DMA Speed co-headline show somewhere, which I'd love that.
I feel like mixed bills are back in now.
Yeah, man, more than ever. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, watch this space, DMAs and Speed.
Yeah.
Oh mate, that'll be
the pits to Speed, and then just breaking out into some real sing-along deal.
I know.
I don't know, the pits to DMAs could do it.
That's true. We've had people washing to our ballads before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get
delete goes off when the
Well, I mean, listeners might not necessarily pick it up, but it does feel like at times DMAs has a good dollop of some of the hallmarks of like hardcore and punk in the, you know, the base of the sound. Has it ever played out in a, you know, in the studio where you're like, boys, let's throw a breakdown in here?
No, it hasn't come up. It hasn't. Look, but there is a real crossover with Britpop and hardcore.
Yeah.
I see it all the time, and it's kind of big. That like you saw, High Vis are doing they did like a Stone Island thing.
Yeah.
So there's like that kind of Britpoppy hardcore crossover, and like, do you know Ben Cook from No Warning?
I know the band.
Yeah. So he's got a side project called Young Gov, which is like really Britpop inspired. There's a lot of crossover, and we found like quite early that there was like a lot of these guys coming to our shows. He's like, you know, we think, what are they doing here? But then, like, there is a crossover for some reason, you know. Like,
Yeah. And you've got
fashion
bands.
and
Yeah. The fashion crossover, like even talking about Speed, they did the Nike collab. Like,
yeah.
it's really cool seeing the heavier sound sort of translate into the mainstream. That's it.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be at hardcore shows all the time. You gotta have something to, you know, relax. That's it. I think honestly.
Well, that's the thing. I find like that. I find like the little people from that world that are getting into our band. It's like I think everybody kind of does have a soft spot for ballads, and sort of like that kind of thing. So we're like a good kind of segue into that. Like
The gateway bit.
yeah, you know what I mean?
All these parents of hardcore kids are like, you should listen to DMA. You might get some like some more chill melodies.
Yeah.
Look, for other influences, you were talking before about how you're kind of getting into some bluegrass and country influences. It sounds like you guys kind of have a real love for music, you know, as a whole. Are there any sounds that you want to bring into a DMA song, or to, you know, take the cues from? You just haven't had the chance to kind of make that work in the middle with the releases so far.
Yeah, we've leaned into like Johnny and I used to play in country band. We grew up listening to country music, and this album has a bit more country twist, like sort of, you know, tinge than we've done before with like harmony stacking, and you know, I'm playing the Irish bouzouki on a few songs. There's some dobro on it, so kind of leaning towards that a little bit.
Sounds like you're open to basically any sound there.
We'll do anything. Yeah, so I feel like we've kind of all the different things that we've touched on. It still does sound like us.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but I get away.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Well, before we let you go, and for our listeners in the UK and Europe, they can be excited because you're about to set off on tour all around the continent to celebrate the release of the new record. I mean, of the new songs you've tried live so far, you know, how have they gone? How's the reception been, and you know, how are you trying to fit them into the set list that I can imagine is a tight little jigsaw puzzle to figure out?
Yeah, it's hard because we do have a lot of slower songs, and you don't want the whole set to kind of be. You kind of want a good balance of like fast and slow songs. So that Heaton Park song's going really well in the UK.
Hell yeah.
I think we played a few songs at the album yesterday at the Sydney show, and yeah, these people are like.
You don't sit down for that question and go, oh,
shit. Yeah, I don't know if we can play
I think it takes a while for people to
especially with the set list that I'm sure has like so many single moments and big, like people get so attached to them, especially the ballads, like, you know, people get so attached to the DMA songs. Do you when you're cutting one out maybe for a new song, you know, does the crowd go, hey man, where's my favourite song?
And that's the thing, once you get, you know, 5 albums deep, you can't have to start sort of sacrificing songs that you want to play. Cutting is a bit hard to run set lists, but we do, you know, because we do a few different sorts of shows in different territories, we can change the set list.
Yeah.
We are. Like if we're doing a festival in a certain part of the UK, then we'll add songs that we think will work with that crowd better. And if we're doing like a Triple J thing, then we'll kind of look through the songs that Triple J have played and sort of create the set list that way. Yeah. So it's good to have like a lot of options.
Well, the new self-titled DMA's 5th record is out on August 21st, so listeners make sure you get a listen wherever you get music. For Australian listeners, catch them live in Brisbane on November 27th, in Melbourne on the 28th, and in Sydney at the Opera House Ball Court on December 3rd. For UK and Irish listeners, they're playing dates all across both countries in Feb 1st and through to Feb 20th next year. Head to dmas.com for info on more tickets. Mace, thank you so much.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
I'm happy to him do the outro.